Real quick before we jump in, this is 100th episode. I'm definitely not the first one to 100. I guess I don't assume I am. Rick has been pumping out one a day for weeks, so he might have beat me to the 100 mark. But just want to say, thank you for listening. Thank you for being part of this product and this project and being part of SimWorld Hoops. It's an exciting time. I'm really honored anytime anybody comments, listens, obviously, and engages. So thank you for all you guys do as the listener. This is obviously not anything that's happening without you and this community. So appreciate you tuning in. We got a long way to go from here, but hopefully a whole lot of fun to go from here as well. So 100 episodes in the book. Let's get at least 100 more. And all right, here's a pod. What up? Marsh pod. Recording this on a Sunday afternoon. Yesterday's Saturday showcase. An entertaining game. A eye-opening game for some players. But at the end of the day, an all-star game. Nonetheless, both teams shot above 60%. There was not defense to be found in this one. We got entertainment, but without really indicative basketball. Big nights from Arthur Lattimore, big nights with Trey Hyman. We'll get to those two in a second. I think it's worth noting a couple things that I found interesting. Two players in this game shot below 50%. Caden Shipp went 2 of 8 in an all-star game where offense was flowing, and then Gabe Pope went 2 of 5. The Gabe Pope thing, that's not really what I'm talking about. It's more a little surprising. Caden Shipp, this guy that we think, he should be like the number one guy, didn't play like that while Trey Hyman did. And again, you can't really take these offensive explosions on face value. I think they needed, with a little context, and a little bit of a grain of salt. But those were big nights. And when somebody goes out there and lays an egg in the way that Caden Shipp did, and a guy that we thought would be a little bit bigger, at the beginning of the season, that's surprising. Same thing with Benari James. 6 shots for James. He was dishing, so he did a great job of kind of adapting to the situation. 27 minutes of those, 6 points on 6 shots. Did do tie a game high with 7 assists. So those are notable performances. But the Arthur Lattimore Trey Hyman one, those nights I think are the most notable. Not because I think you look at this and say, wow, maybe those guys are the best. I think that was already kind of believed to be, at least for Trey. And again, all-star games should not be your springboard to saying, let's take this guy serious as a number one elite dude. But I think a showcase that both of these guys, especially Trey Hyman, need to be featured in this type of workload. Bay Area, right? Now we have the news that Royce Anderson is potentially leaving, if not likely leaving. Dime Hardaway expected to follow in his footsteps or leave at the same time, whatever sequencing of events you want to put on that. This is kind of the result of that, and we didn't see a fully unleashed Trey Hyman because there were so many mouths to feed, Caden Shipp being one of them, who was in this game and didn't play well. This is a good sign for Trey Hyman because I think it shows he needs to be much more of a central figure. The same can be said of Arthur Lattimore. I thought he already was. And look, if you go back to the Friday pot, saying that it was uninteresting didn't mean that I didn't think these guys were going to be good or that they aren't good. But all-star games don't feature defense. They don't. And this was a perfect example of that being the case. And so guys that, we're not going to learn a lot about those guys. What's more interesting is to see how do guys that are used to heavy workloads, Benari James, DJ Wagner, Trey Hyman, how do they function in games in which the ball isn't moving a lot? Trey Turner, 8 shots. Benari James, 6 shots. Justin Bell, 4 shots. DJ Wagner, 14. There's an obvious sequencing and pecking order that's established in these games, and some of these guys that enjoy heavy workloads elsewhere just weren't going to get it, and those were the ones. Lattimore and Trey Hyman were the beneficiaries of it. But that wasn't to say that they were an uninteresting player to watch. We got from Arthur Lattimore what we've seen from him all season. Cascadia just wasn't a good enough basketball team for much of the year for him to be considered in the atmosphere of which he should be considered next year. Trey Hyman was because he was playing on a team that had high expectations and was playing exceptionally well. Cascadia just wasn't. So that's worthy of recognition. But look, we got what we expected from Arthur Lattimore. He averaged 18 a game. He hit 18. What was impressive was Trey Hyman doing it in a lot of different ways. And he played 35 minutes. Most minutes, he's the only player to go over 30 minutes. Arthur Lattimore, no coincidence, played 29. He tied Terrell Thompson for the second most minutes in the game. Those guys got a ton of usage. And if I'm Trey Pope and I'm looking at my team next season, I'm saying Trey Hyman's got to be featured more. And you're going to lose Caden Shipp. You're going to lose Dime Hardaway. You're going to lose Royce Anderson. This is no disrespect, but I think it's an addition by subtraction. The pecking order is established. The ball goes through Trey Hyman's hands, and he's going to navigate. And he showed he could do it. 4 assists in this game, 2 steals, 2 blocks. He can anchor you on both sides. These were big nights. I'm not going to sit here and say that they weren't impressive. No one's claiming that. They were an all-star game, but this is an opportunity now and a proof point for both of them, Japheth Towns as well. Those are the top 3 guys headed into next season. I don't think there's an argument otherwise. Partially because of this great game, but partially because it's exposed what those guys are capable of doing when given a full arsenal of opportunity. Now, a caveat. Can I nitpick? Can I nitpick here just a touch? There's no extension of a game from a big man in SimWorld Hoops. Trey Hyman attempted 0 threes in this game. Arthur Lattimore, 0. Mackenzie Mbako listed as a big. He's a forward. He attempted 2. Tyson Simpson, 0. Justin Bell was listed as a big. He's not. Tyrell Thompson, 0. Aaron Payne, 1. So among guys that actually are bigs, Lorenzo Phenom, Victor Silgauskas, both 0. There was 1 3-pointer attempted by Aaron Payne. If these guys really want to elevate the game, there's got to be a perimeter aspect to their games. Because right now that's not. And it makes it super easy to defend them. And it's why there's hesitancy to believing that a big man can be the bona fide number 1 offensive option. The Beasts of the East won, and you can point to Levin Cutler being there. Cutler wasn't their number 1 option. Fareed Redmond was, and he hit the big shots. Cutler kept him in it. Redmond hit the big shots down the stretch to get back into and win that game. Their defense did the same thing, but it wasn't a Cutler-centric offense. If Bay Area is going to run back Trey Hyman, Hyman has to become more of a Giannis Antetokounmpo type of guy with some semblance of even a mid-range to perimeter game. Yeah, he's got the athleticism for it, Arthur Lattimore as well, but there has to be some respect to the outer game. Now, Giannis isn't a great example just because he's not an efficient three-point shooter, but Giannis takes those shots. And if he's hitting those shots, this game flips completely. And if they are able to transition their games to, I'm not saying be a three-pointer, but you look at Nikola Jokic. He can hit 40% from deep, forces you to defend him out to the three-point line, and then he can do his work. If you can just sit in the paint and defend a big man, you're taking away, and you can bring double teams. You don't respect it. You can sag off of him, and that mucks up the water for everybody else. It's why the big man in the modern-day NBA and basketball is fading. Trey Hyman and Arthur Lattimore just need to add that to him because they showed signs of it being, capable of being a top guy all season long. Trey Hyman in this one proved he needs a workload for it, and he should be able to meet that demand. All right, new schedule again. This is Monday, Friday. So we'll talk to you on Friday. And we're here in Florida. Quick note. Living in Florida, there's a couple of team members of our team on the SimWorld team that live in Florida. Obviously, we have a SimWorld Hoops team that's based in Florida. So for anybody in the state, please continue to monitor the tropics. Looks like some Gulf Coast hitting in the Big Bend area of the state. So please be safe if you are calling Florida home. And we'll talk to you on Friday.